My dear brothers and sisters, if you are still walking this earth after the sun has risen and set over your shoulders for 65 long, winding years, let me tell you something sacred and true. You are not here by accident. You are not a leftover. You are not forgotten. You are not invisible. You are divinely preserved. You are specially chosen. You are eternally significant. Yes, the bones may ache and the steps may slow, but there's a light inside you that refuses to dim. A fire that still burns beneath the ashes of yesterday's pain, sorrow, joy, and triumph. If you are still alive after all you've seen, all you've felt, all you've fought through, it is because God still has work for you to do. You see, the young may have strength in their limbs, but you, beloved, you have strength in your soul. You have lived, not just existed. And there's a world of difference between the two. You have cried tears that only heaven could understand. You have laughed in storms. You have loved in loss. And somehow in all of it you remained. So why are you still here after 65? If you are still alive after 65, beloved, know this with every beat of your heart and every breath in your chest. You are not here by accident. You are not a leftover from life's grand feast. Not a forgotten photograph tucked away in a dusty drawer. Not a remnant to be discarded. You are divinely preserved. You have been kept, and there is power in being kept. You see, some folks walk through life never understanding their worth. They measure their value by what the world tells them, by the salary they once earned, by the titles they held, by the beauty they no longer see when they look in the mirror. But I want to remind you, darling soul, that God does not operate by those standards. No. The Almighty does not care for numbers on paper or lines upon your skin. God looks at the eternal, at the things unseen, the things that shine beyond what eyes can behold. And when He looks at you, He sees purpose preserved. To be alive past 65 is to have walked through seasons that would have swallowed the unroaded. It means you've heard doors slam, hearts break, dreams fall into silence, and yet you rose again. It means you've seen love come and love go. You've buried more than you care to count, and yet here you are. Still breathing, still waking, still becoming. That is not coincidence. That is divine orchestration. God, in His infinite wisdom, did not let you fade into the shadows. He did not let time erase you. He placed His holy hand upon your shoulder and whispered, "Not yet." He said, "I still have use for this one." And when God says stay, not even death can argue. You are the evidence that grace doesn't expire. You are the living proof that mercy has memory. God remembered you through every storm you thought would break you. He remembered you through the tears you cried in secret when you wondered if anyone saw you, if anyone still needed you. He saw you. He needed you. And He still does. Think of all the times you could have been taken. The close calls, the brushes with danger, the nights your heart ached so heavy you thought it would stop beating just to escape the pain. And yet, morning came, morning always came, and with it, a reminder that as long as the sun rises, so too does your purpose. Now, don't you let the world convince you that your time is up just because your hair has silvered or your back has bowed. Don't you let anyone treat you like a relic from the past. You are a living legacy. You are a wellspring of wisdom in a world thirsting for truth. You have stories in your bones and prayers in your breath. And there is a generation coming behind you that needs to hear your voice like desert land needs rain. God preserved you because there are still seeds to sow. Seeds of kindness. Seeds of healing. Seeds of truth. Every conversation you have, every hand you hold, every soul you comfort. It all matters. It's all sacred. You may not stand on a stage or hold a microphone, but let me tell you, your kitchen table is a pulpit. Your presence is a sermon. Your life is a scripture still being written. There's a reason God didn't allow that illness to take you. There's a reason the accident missed you. There's a reason you're not in a grave like some of your childhood friends. You have been chosen to remain, not just to survive, but to shine. Your light may be softer now, more golden than blazing, but oh, how it still glows. And in that glow, God is revealed. People often ask, why am I still here? As though life past a certain age is punishment. But life, dear heart, is never punishment when it is in the hands of God. Life is opportunity. Life is sacred continuation. If God has kept you, it is because your time is still holy. Your words still carry weight. Your presence still shifts the atmosphere. You may think your strength is gone, that your best days have already danced past you. But child, let me tell you something, some trees bear their sweetest fruit in the late season. Some flowers bloom only when the sun is gentle. You are not past your prime. You are in your anointed hour. When you walk into a room, heaven walks with you. When you speak, angels take note. Your prayers move mountains that younger hands cannot even climb. Do not despise your age. Honor it, because heaven surely does. You are still here because the world still needs the peace in your eyes, the compassion in your touch, the truth in your tone. You are still here because God looked at the tapestry of time and saw a thread, your thread, still waiting to be woven. So he held back the tide. He paused the storm. He whispered to time, not this one. I am not finished. And if God isn't finished with you, who are you to try and close the book? Walk with your head held high. Sit with dignity. Speak with courage. You have earned every wrinkle, every laugh line, every silver strand. You are crowned with wisdom. You are cloaked in divine purpose. You are not just aging. You are ascending. Let the young rush. Let them run. But you, walk like royalty. Move like someone who has seen the valley and the mountaintop. Let your presence teach without even trying. Let your silence comfort. Let your life say, I have been preserved because I still have something to give. So if you're wondering why you're still alive after 65, let your spirit respond with certainty. Because God still delights in me. Because God still has need of me. Because I am his vessel, still being poured, still being filled, still being loved. You, my dear, are not forgotten. You are divinely preserved, and that is no small thing, not at all. There is something mighty, something sacred, something nearly unspeakable about being trusted by God. Yes, my dear, trusted, and not just in the sweet days of youth, when the world sees your steps as strong and your skin as smooth. But in the silver years, when your hands have held both grief and glory, and your voice carries the deep of experience, that's when heaven leans in closest. If you are still alive after 65, it is because God trusts you with wisdom, with legacy, and with purpose. You see, trust is not easily given. It is not tossed about like confetti on a careless wind. No, trust is sacred. And God's trust, oh my Lord, that is a weighty and wondrous thing. It is no small honor to be kept on this side of life, not as a punishment, not as a forgotten relic, but as a vessel still full of purpose, still overflowing with truth that only years could teach. You were not placed here merely to watch time go by. You were placed here to stand as a witness. You have watched kingdoms of culture rise and fall. You've seen laughter echo in empty rooms. You've mourned things that never got a proper burial. You've known what it means to lose and yet still love. You, my beloved, have learned. And that learning, that living, that enduring, it has become your sacred oil. And God, in his all-knowing way, said, I can trust this one. God can trust you with stories, the kind that heal hearts, the kind that make a young stop scrolling and start listening. Because you don't speak just to fill silence. You speak to pour medicine into the ears of the broken. You speak to plant truth into the garden of the wandering. And oh, how needed that is. In this age of noise and haste, your voice is the calm in the storm, a lighthouse in fog, a well in the desert. God can trust you with legacy. Yes, even now, especially now. because you understand that life is more than possessions. You know legacy is not about the money in your account, but the peace in your home. It is not about what you leave behind in things, but what you leave behind in people. You know how to give love that doesn't ask for anything back. You know how to show up when no one else will. You know how to bless others without needing applause. That kind of love, steady, seasoned, sincere, is rare. And because it's rare, God needs you to give it. He needs you to pass it on like a torch in the night. Someone in your family is watching. Someone in your church is listening. Someone across the street, across the world, is hungry for the peace you carry. And God knows you can deliver it. You've been through enough to know that titles don't matter. You've seen the proud fall. You've watched empires crumble. And yet you remain rooted, real, resilient. Because you know that what you do for God and His people, that's what lives forever. And let me tell you something, child of God, purpose doesn't retire. It doesn't wither with age. It deepens. It ripens. The fruit becomes sweeter. The lessons become richer. God trusts you now more than ever because you've proven faithful. Not perfect, but faithful. And that, beloved, is all He ever needed. You've kept walking when you had no strength. You've forgiven when bitterness begged for company. You've prayed for people who never said thank you. And God, in His glory, has taken note of it all. And He has said, "This one knows me. This one loves like I love. This one can be trusted." You've lived long enough to understand what truly matters. You've lived through trends and turmoil, through wars on the outside and wars on the inside. And yet your heart is still open, still blessing, still hoping. Let the world praise the young and the restless, but heaven praises the seasoned and the still. The ones who didn't give up, the ones who stayed soft in a hard world, the ones who held on to love when it would have been easier to grow cold. That's why you're still here. You are a sacred instrument in God's hand. Do not underestimate the power of your presence. When you walk into a room, wisdom enters with you. When you pray, demons tremble because you've prayed from places they tried to destroy. When you sing, even the silence listens. When you smile, it's a testimony that joy is possible after sorrow. That peace is possible after storms. That faith can survive the fire. God has entrusted you with more than most. And because of that, He has preserved you longer than most. He trusts you to speak life where others have spoken death. He trusts you to tell the truth in a world addicted to lies. He trusts you to be light, even when you feel dimmed. And He trusts you to remind others that life is not over just because a few more birthdays have passed. He trusts you to say, "Child, as long as breath fills your lungs, your mission still moves." And when you say it, it carries weight, because you say it from the mountaintop of having lived it. You have been entrusted with time. That means every moment is a gift, every day a doorway, every conversation a chance to sow love, to water hope, to build something eternal. So, beloved, live like you've been trusted. Walk like one who carries treasure. Speak like your words change atmospheres. Move like God is not finished with you, because He's not. You are not just surviving. You are carrying legacy. You are delivering wisdom. You are walking in purpose. The young may have their speed, but you have sacred direction. They may run, but you know where you're going. And God smiles every time you take another step, because He knows, this one I can trust. Don't you let the world lie to you, child. Don't you let time, or mirrors, or strangers convince you that your age is a limitation, that gray hair is a curse, that slowing down is a weakness. Oh no, beloved, I want you to understand, age is not a disqualification, it is a divine qualification. There is something extraordinary about a soul that has lived. Not merely existed, but truly lived. A soul that has endured the sun and the storm, the rising and the falling, the joy and the heartbreak. A soul that has held babies in trembling arms and buried loved ones with trembling hands. That kind of soul carries something that cannot be taught in classrooms, cannot be bottled in sermons, and cannot be downloaded from the internet. That kind of soul is rich with the kind of wisdom only time can give, and that kind of soul is qualified by heaven itself. You, who have seen decades come and go, who have watched nations rise and tumble, who have held your tongue when it was easier to rage, and offered grace when bitterness was deserved. You are qualified. You, who have wept in silence and still chosen to smile. You, who have been betrayed and yet refused to turn to stone. You, who know the weight of waiting, the pain of patience, the strength it takes just to rise in the morning. You are God's masterpiece still unfolding. The world may want youth. The world may chase after what is new, what is loud, what is shiny. But God, oh child, God delights in the seasoned. He treasures the wrinkled hands, the steady hearts, the voices that do not tremble because they know who they are. You see, anyone can sprint in their 20s, but it takes a warrior to walk with courage in their 60s and 70s. It takes a prophet to praise in pain, to speak peace when the world is burning, to rest in the Lord when everything around you screams for panic. Do not let anyone write you off. Do not let society tuck you into some corner like you are finished. You are not a chapter closed. You are a chapter unfolding. And maybe, just maybe, the most powerful pages of your story are still being written. That pain you survived, that healing you carried, that wisdom you wear like a crown. That's what qualifies you. When you speak now, your words don't just fill the air. They carry weight. They are soaked in experience. They drip with understanding. When you walk into a room, people feel the shift because you've been through something. You've come out of the fire not burned, but refined. You don't have to raise your voice to be heard. Your silence speaks. Your presence commands. Oh yes, the young may have the energy, but you have the knowing. You have the insight that only the Spirit can carve into the human soul over years and years of learning. Stumbling, rising, praying, surrendering, and standing. You don't run like you used to, but you walk with intention. You walk with dignity. You walk with power. There are mountains still for you to move, but now you don't do it with muscle. You do it with faith. Your prayers have power. Your hands carry healing. Your laughter is laced with heaven's strength. Do you know how powerful that makes you? Let the world chase youth. Let them glorify the temporary. But you, beloved, wear eternity like a garment. You are the bridge between generations, the anchor in a sea of change, the lighthouse that still shines even after all the storms. And your light is needed now more than ever. Because there's a child watching you. There's a daughter who needs to see what grace looks like at 70. There's a son who needs to know that a man can still stand tall even when his back bends. There is a neighbor, a friend, a stranger in your church who is on the edge of giving up. But they see you, still standing, still praising, still cooking meals, still opening your Bible, still showing up. And they say to themselves, if she can, maybe I can too. You are hope in human form. You are evidence that God keeps His promises. You are a walking testimony that life doesn't end at 65. It just deepens. And while others are chasing platforms and applause, you are doing the holy work, listening, comforting, planting seeds, giving hugs that heal, speaking words that pierce through despair like sunlight through clouds. That, my dear, is what makes you qualified. So don't shrink. Don't hide. Don't say, my time has passed. No, your time is now. You are not just an elder, you are anointed. You are not just older, you are ordained. God didn't keep you alive just to exist. He kept you to lead, to love, to lift, to shine. And let me tell you this. Age does not mean you are done. It means you've seen enough to begin again, this time with more clarity, more purpose, more joy, You know now what matters. You don't waste your breath on foolishness. You don't entertain drama. You know the value of peace, and you guard it with the strength of a lioness. You don't need to prove yourself anymore. You are past that. You have nothing to prove and everything to give. And when you speak, heaven listens. Because heaven is the one who wrote your name in purpose in the first place. So walk tall, grandmother. Stand proud, grandfather. Smile with your whole face. Laugh with your whole soul. Wear your age like a badge of honor. For every wrinkle is a victory. Every gray hair is a testimony. Every scar is a lesson learned. You didn't get here easily, but you got here, and that is something holy. You are not disqualified by age. You are qualified by grace. You are trusted by time. You are appointed by God, and you are still needed, still chosen, still becoming. Keep walking, beloved. Heaven isn't done with you yet. There is something sacred about being kept for a purpose. Something so gentle yet mighty, so quiet yet thunderous, when God places his hand upon your shoulder and says, "You are still on assignment, and if you have lived to see the sunrise after 65 years, then hear me now. God is not done with you. No, child, not by a long shot. You are still on divine assignment." I know the world may whisper otherwise. I know the calendars and clocks and critics may try to convince you that your season has passed, that your time is behind you. But the divine does not move by man's schedule. The Holy One does not clock out when you retire. He does not lose interest when the spotlight fades. God works in silence, in shadows, in the stillness of the soul. And he assigns his strongest soldiers not by the smoothness of their steps, but by the strength of their spirit. You are still here because there is something in you the world still needs. Something that only your voice, your story, your presence can give. You were not left behind, you were set apart. Aye, you were not overlooked, you were handpicked to carry out a purpose that's been maturing inside you like fine wine, aging in grace, ripening with time. You are not just somebody's grandparent or somebody's neighbor. You are a walking sermon, a living prayer, a vessel that carries the fragrance of faith wherever you go. You are an elder not just in age, but in wisdom, in compassion, in resilience. And your assignment, dear soul, is not over. It's unfolding. Maybe you're not called to stages or pulpits. But let me tell you, some of the most sacred assignments don't come with applause. They come in quiet kitchens where you stir love into every pot. They come in whispered prayers over sleeping grandchildren. They come in gentle hands that hold trembling ones, in patient words that calm anxious minds, in every act of grace that says, "You matter. I see you. I'm here." That's your ministry. That's your holy ground. You may think you've done all you were born to do, but let me assure you, if there is still breath in your body, then heaven is still writing your story. There are still hearts you are meant to touch, still lives you are meant to impact, still souls you are meant to uplift just by being who you are. Don't discount your influence just it doesn't look grand. You never know who is watching. You never know who is drawing strength from your example. There's a young woman watching how you walk with grace, even when your body aches. There's a young man watching how you treat others, even when no one treats you with reverence. There are neighbors who remember your kindness more than you remember giving it. That, beloved, is divine work. Your assignment may look different now. Perhaps you once carried the weight of children, of work, of community. And now your days are slower, your hours quieter. But don't mistake stillness for uselessness. Don't confuse quiet for forgotten. Even in the silence, God speaks. Even in the stillness, he moves. He may be calling you now to mentor, to pray, to speak life into someone who's on the edge of giving up. He may be calling you to forgive someone who hurt you long ago, so you can set yourself free and show someone else how to do the same. He may be calling you to write the book to sing the song, to teach the child, to show the world that grace doesn't fade with age. It grows. You carry things others cannot carry. Because you've lived. You've survived storms that would have shattered someone else. You've walked through fire and come out with wisdom etched into your bones. You've known grief that reshaped your world, and somehow you still found a way to love again, and that love, that compassion, that unshakable faith, that is your assignment. You are here to be a bridge. Between the old and the new, between what was and what can be, you are here to remind people that they come from strength, that they were born into courage, that they are part of something eternal. And even when you feel weary, even when your back bends and your knees creak and your energy wanes, know this: your spirit is still strong. Your prayers still reach heaven. Your presence still shifts atmospheres. You are more than capable. You are anointed for this hour. Do not listen to the voices that say, "What can you do now?" Listen to the Spirit that says, "You are doing it right now." Every moment you choose love over bitterness. Every time you answer the phone with joy instead of sorrow. Every time you offer a word of hope instead of complaint. You are completing the divine task. You are fulfilling your assignment. Sometimes the greatest work is done without recognition. Sometimes the most powerful ministries are carried out in slippers, not heels. In rocking chairs, not boardrooms. In humble homes, not cathedrals. Do not wait for a title to begin. You already have one child of God, servant of the Most High, bearer of light, keeper of peace. That's enough. That's more than enough. So keep speaking. Keep showing up. Keep pouring love into a world that has grown cold. Keep walking with dignity. Keep embracing the young ones. Keep smiling when it's hard. Keep trusting that your breath is still part of God's plan. Because you are not here by accident. You are not forgotten. You are not finished. You are still on assignment. And heaven is cheering for you. Every step you take, every prayer you whisper, every act of kindness you offer. It is all being written in eternity. The angels take note. The heavens rejoice. And God smiles because you said yes. Again, yes. Lord, use me still. Yes, Lord, I'm available. Yes, Lord, I will walk this path with grace as long as you give me breath. So take heart, beloved. You are not merely passing time. You are fulfilling destiny. You are walking in purpose. You are living your assignment. And your assignment is holy. The story is not over, beloved. No, not yet. Though the calendar may whisper of years gone by, though the mirror may show lines where laughter once danced, and though your hands may tremble where they once held firm, make no mistake, the author is still writing. And if you are still alive after 65, if you are still rising with the morning sun, then your life remains a living manuscript in the hands of a God who has never left a sentence unfinished. It is a sweet and holy truth that God is not bound by the time on our clocks nor the age in our bones. He writes with an eternal pen, steady, patient, deliberate. He knows how to stretch a story across decades, how to bring beauty from ashes after long winters. And if you are still breathing, then the ink is still flowing. The next chapter is yet to be revealed. People will try to convince you that your best days are behind you. They'll say the glory is in youth, that purpose is a thing for the quick and the young, for those whose skin has not known time. But that is not how the divine operates. Oh no, child, God's some of his richest chapters for the later pages. Some blessings don't bloom until the roots have grown deep. Some callings don't rise until the soul has been seasoned. You may feel like life has slowed, but heaven is only now beginning to reveal the masterpiece. What you've endured was not for nothing. What you've learned, what you've survived, what you've carried in silence, it has all been woven into the fabric of your story. And God, the great weaver, is not wasteful. He turns every tear into a testimony, every delay into a divine pause, every scar into a sacred line of poetry. You have not outlived your purpose. You are simply walking into your next scene. Sometimes, God writes the loudest truths in the quietest seasons. The part of the story where things slow down, where the noise dies away, where friends have gone home and the house falls silent. Those are often the chapters where God begins to speak most clearly. You don't need the chaos anymore to feel important. You don't need the spotlight to feel worthy, because now you know who you are. Now you know who holds the pen. And my dear, he writes with wisdom. He writes with love. He writes with memory and majesty and meaning. He has not forgotten your story. He has not skipped over your page. He is still crafting your legacy. One line at a time, one heartbeat after another. You may not feel like a hero, but heroes don't always wear medals. Sometimes they wear aprons. Sometimes they wear hospital bracelets. Sometimes they wear grief like a shawl, and yet still rise each morning with praise on their lips. That is strength. That is courage. That is divine storytelling. There are stories within you that have not yet been told. There are books you haven't written, songs you haven't sung, people you haven't yet blessed. There is laughter still to come, healing still to give, light still to shine. And as long as your heart beats, there is more to be lived. Do not close the book just because others have put theirs away. Yours is still open. Yours is still being written. And child, the last chapters just might be the most powerful ones. Remember Sarah. She laughed when she told she'd bear a child in her old age. And yet, God turned that laughter into legacy. Moses was 80 when he led his people to freedom. Anna was in the temple day and night in her old age, still fasting, still praying, still holding on to the promise of seeing the Messiah. So what makes you think God is done with you? No, darling. The Holy Spirit is still moving in your life, still whispering inspiration, still guiding your steps, still unfolding the story. You may not run anymore, but now you walk with wisdom. You may not shout anymore, but now your silence speaks volumes. You may not labor in the same way, but your prayers shake the heavens. And isn't that something? That you can sit in your chair and yet still shift generations with your words. That you can speak peace over your family and shift the atmosphere without moving from your seat. That you can kneel beside your bed and call down angels, not for yourself, but for others. Oh, what power lives in you! You are not forgotten. You are not overlooked. You are ongoing. You are in progress. You are a poem still being penned. You are a melody still playing in heaven's heart. So rest when you need to, but don't stop believing. Don't stop creating. Don't stop dreaming. Because God hasn't stopped writing. And sometimes, the best stories are the ones that take the longest to tell. They unfold like slow burning fires. Warm, radiant, unforgettable. That is your story. A fire still glowing. A candle still lit. A song still rising into the sky. My dear, live like the story is still being told. Speak like your words shape worlds. Move like you are led by purpose. Love like it's your mission. Forgive like it's your gift. And praise like your life is a love letter to the one who's writing every page with grace. He has not put the pen down. He is still adding chapters. Beautiful ones, redemptive ones, powerful ones. And so rise each day not with regret, but with readiness, with reverence, with the quiet knowing that you are walking hand in hand with the author, and he has saved some of the most beautiful sentences for this very season. The book is not finished. The story is not done, and oh, how glorious the ending shall be.